From the food to the anime to the culture, Japan is an amazing place that I've been fortunate enough to visit. So the first time I went to Japan, I went with my mom, and that was in 2022. This was around the time Japan was still widely closed off to tourists due to the pandemic. But luckily, my mom and I were able to get in. I remember clear as day, as soon as the plane landed at Narita Airport, I started sobbing from being overjoyed. And I was listening to Electro World by Perfume, by the way. Whatever you want to do with that information. At the airport, we were greeted by a tour guide, an older woman with a great sense of humor who helped lead us to our hotel that night. Now, we would go on to have a few moments with this specific tour guide. So one of the funny moments I remember with her was when all three of us were at a restaurant and I wanted dessert. But my tour guide, she kept insisting that I eat this cucumber sushi so I don't get fat, and she kept on pushing the dish towards me. And then when my mom wanted to order dessert, the tour guide sighed and said, like mother, like daughter. Now, this isn't saying anything bad on our tour guide. I absolutely love her. But it's not like she has some crazy fit physique, you know? And my mom has always been like stick skinny. But one thing about Japan and Asia in general is being skinny and even less than skinny is deeply ingrained in their society. That becomes extremely apparent when shopping. So many of you have probably heard about Harajuku, Takeshita Street, Shibuya 109, all of the trendiest places to buy the cutest and coolest clothes like ever. Clothes that are super difficult to come across if you live in the States or maybe other places. However, if you are the average American size, the difficulty in finding anything that fits you increases by tenfold. Up until the trip, even before I knew about it, I had been dieting and exercising for months, so luckily most of the stuff fit me fine. However, there was a beautiful one-size-fits-all skirt I adored. It would not go over my hips. Anyways, our tour guide was always pretty adamant on this weight stuff. One day we passed a tourist who was big boned, but our tour guide pointed at him, which in Japan is already seen as super rude to do, but proceeded to say out loud, "See, that man is definitely American." And no kidding, began laughing like a One Piece character. Look, I love this lady, but my mom and I thought that was so rude and out of pocket, low-key. Another thing that surprised me about Japan is how much Japanese people enjoy others participating in their culture, such as foreigners wearing kimono or yukata. In the West, it's very easy to get into hot water for trying to participate in other cultures. But there in Japan, people actually love it. Just make sure you don't go out looking crazy because you will get some stares. There are also the trains in Japan, which are pretty awesome. If you live in the US, you know we don't have the greatest public transportation, even if you live in cities. But in Japan, the public transportation is always so clean and so easy to navigate. Even if it was your first time in Japan, as long as you have Google Maps on you, you will get exactly where you need to be without having to walk super long distances. But oh my goodness, one of the biggest culture shocks I had when I was there, usually when you're in a locker room in the United States, no one is in there butt booty naked. People at least have their undergarments on or they have a towel covering them. But when I was heading to a pool, it wasn't an onsen, it was a hotel pool. Everyone in there was butt booty naked, and so that kind of just surprised me. I didn't find it weird, but I was just taken aback. But all in all, my Japan trip with my mom was a success. We both had a great time and we bonded a lot, which was pretty awesome. So every month that went by, I would be missing Japan like crazy. This would be up until January of 2024 when my partner would ask if I want to go to Japan with him. And of course, I said absolutely yes. So despite being broke college students just scraping by, we ended up going in Japan of May 2024 that year. Now, since I had already been, I was almost his personal tour guide in a way. I knew how to navigate the train systems, I knew some great places to eat. My tour guides when I went with my mom even suggested places that couples go often, so I had that under my belt as well. Oddly enough, when we were there, my partner never wanted to eat Japanese food. He was always wanting to eat burgers. I really love sushi, and I wanted to take advantage of all of those food places in Japan that we don't have here in the US. However, I do love a good burger too, so I was tempted a lot of the times. And we did end up eating some pretty good burgers. There was also an odd occurrence we had on Takeshita Street. So my partner, he has a bunch of tattoos and he's Mexican, right? So in Japan, tattoos are already kind of stigmatized because they are associated with the Yakuza. There was this man trying to give us these flyers and lead us to a shop, and he could already tell we weren't interested. So to start some conversation, he asked my boyfriend where he's from. And even though we were from the US, my boyfriend just said Mexico, And the guy immediately turned around without saying a word and walked off. Like, the expression on his face just turned blank. I don't know, but up until this day, we theorized that maybe he thought my boyfriend was like from the cartel or something. Japan also has some pretty great theme parks, and we went to one that was right outside of Tokyo. It is called Yomiuri Land, and when I was there, my tour guide said that it's notorious for a lot of couples going, and that day was definitely one of the top days I've had in Japan. On one of the rides, my partner convinced me to just do the Sigma face the whole time. So I guess on the ride the whole time, we were just looking like two American idiots doing the Sigma face. And then we went on this one water ride where you had to walk all the way up to the top, but after the grueling walk, it is so worth it because you get this round raft and you spiral all the way down on the raft through the water. Japan does get very humid though, so that walk to the top was crazy. Yomiuri Land also has these gondolas that take you from the park close to this train station, and the gondolas were pretty awesome. You're overlooking beautiful scenery, a greenhouse garden under. Definitely a great place for couples. Also, Tokyo is a very walkable city. Like on one of the days, my partner and I just ended up at the Imperial Palace on accident after walking for like 2 hours or so. So overall, our trip to Japan was pretty great. It was really sweet seeing my partner try new things for the first time. So write down in the comments if you've ever traveled anywhere, and if so, where was it and how did you like it? Or if there was somewhere you are interested in traveling, where would you want to go and why? Also, stating the obvious here, I'm so sorry for getting out the video late. Just between graduation stuff, getting ready to move by looking for new apartments, it's been a lot this month. So for those who came back to watch, I thank you so much for your patience. You guys are truly awesome. And I did see that I reached 5,000 subs, and thank you guys so much. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I truly appreciate every single one of you.